Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Maverick Mompreneur podcast. This is your host, Ashley, and this is episode 65. I recorded this episode actually in my Facebook group, Elevate Academy, and I thought that I had my mic set up. I thought I was so slick and I had everything set up correctly. And then as it so turned out, I had my mic, my good mic, on mute. And so the audio is just what picked up from my computer. So I apologize in advance for that sound quality. I did edit it so it sounds a little bit better, but however, the content is really good. We are talking about essentially the 80-20 rule, and I'll explain what that is and how it applies to your business. But in essence, we're talking about 20% of the things that we do in our lives and in our businesses yield 80% of our results, and how to get down to what are those 20% items, both in a macro level and then also an individual level. So I hope this episode is super helpful as you're starting out the year, hopefully off strong. And if you haven't started off strong, give yourself grace. We still have 11 more months plus in 2023 to absolutely crush it, and I'm here to help. Before we dive into the content for this episode, I did want to mention that Align Your Brand Live 2023 is open for enrollment, but only for a couple more days. We close for enrollment on the 20th of January 2023, and then we get started on Monday the 23rd. Now, this course is normally available always self-paced, so if you're listening to this afterwards, don't worry, you can take the course self-paced. But the really cool thing is I kept the price the same, and we're running it as a live group program, which means that not only do you get the 4 days of fire training, you get a live Q&A day with me a few days after we wrap, so that you have time to work through the curriculum and ask your individual questions about your brand and business plan. Some of what we'll cover in Align Your Brand is your message of your brand, your ideal client avatar, your brand content pillars, and figuring out the common denominator between them and how that ties into message, your tagline, where you should be showing up and how often in alignment to you, your core values, your schedule, and all of those things, your best and most aligned lead generation method, your brand aesthetic and how to come up with that and have it be effective and powerful and communicate without even speaking, your brand mission and message, and then importantly, how the heck do you turn your personal brand into an aligned business? So how is it that you are going to monetize this year in a way that feels completely aligned? And if you're pivoting and making a transition, we want to take that into consideration, all of those things. And then most importantly, how can we ensure that you align all of the latter with your personality type, your core values, your experience, your personal definition of success, your time, your schedule, all the things that you uniquely have going on in your life, so that you're building a business that supports a lifestyle that you absolutely are obsessed with. Whether you have zero clue on any of what I've been talking about as far as establishing a brand and you're a blank canvas, or you're working on a pivot or a rebrand and want some guidance, this is exactly what you need. And I cannot wait to work with a group of women entrepreneurs live and do the dang thing. This is going to be the only chance to take this course as a live program this year, and the price point is the same as if it was self-paced. So definitely get in on it if you're someone who loves that group vibe, the accountability. If you're ready to dial in and align your brand or rebrand, starting from alignment, snag your spot before doors close on the 20th. Okay, let's get into it. Today, we are going to be talking about how the heck we figure out what to do in our businesses to move the needle forward toward the impact and income that we desire to have. And I'm going to give you 4 essentials that you totally, absolutely 100,000% need to be doing. But then there's also going to be things specific to you. And so if you have something to take notes with, I would suggest grabbing that. I'm going to give you a couple of things to journal about, literally 2, maybe 3 questions. And I hope that it will help you to figure out what specifically you need to do and not do and get rid of to move the needle in your business forward this year, regardless of what products, services, opportunity, etc. you are selling online. Have you heard of the 80-20 rule? So the 80-20 rule is applicable to so many different areas, but essentially it is that 20% of all of the inputs that we do, so the the actions that we take, the things that we do, the things that we say, 20% of all the inputs are responsible for 80% of our output. And so you probably heard this when it comes to food, like the 80-20 rule. Maybe you've heard of it in productivity, but what I want to help you do today is to identify the inputs, the 20% inputs that are the most productive for you and your business and get you 80% of your results. It stands to reason that if we can figure out what those 20% are, that we should do more of those and less of things that don't fall into that 20% category, and or put those on your list to outsource or to automate. Okay. And the things that really make the needle move in your business, those are the things you're going to do. We need to learn to differentiate what matters and what doesn't. Otherwise, that's when we end up on this crazy hamster wheel, saying yes to and doing all the things and losing our dang minds. And I speak from experience, having built that way, having built all areas of life and business that way, and now being on the other side of it and feeling aligned in my brand and business and life. Not that anything is ever easy, but it's so much less friction, so much more flow in taking action and doing the things. So how do we do this? This is where I want you to get your journal out. So first, ask yourself this question and then journal about it. What actions were you taking? Beep, beep, beep. Let me back that up. When you have not gotten results. So maybe that's recently, or maybe you're crushing it right now, but in the past, maybe 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago, when you weren't getting results. And I don't mean when you first started your business, or if you just started your brand and business now, you're not getting results. That's a different story. But if you've been in the game for a while, you've been selling things online for a while, you've been doing the whole influencer social seller thing, and there was a period where your sales were down or your audience wasn't growing or you weren't getting the results that you wanted, what were you doing at that time? So inputs, not what were you not doing, but what inputs were you doing when you didn't get results? For example, I wrote down a few of my own. Scrolling on social media. So consuming content rather than focusing on straight up content creation. So looking at other people's accounts, getting in Reddit or social media scroll holes, cold messaging. Okay. Have you ever done a lot of cold messaging and you weren't getting any results? I have. Copying and pasting other people's posts. We see this all the time in social selling, where it's just like this normal thing where people copy and paste other people's posts. And that is not reflective of their personal brand nor their authenticity. And so maybe for you, that was not getting you results. Maybe it got you results. I don't know. Attending 1,000 Zooms versus focusing on content creation. So getting distracted by watching a lot of trainings or attending a lot of trainings. Posting things outside of your brand content pillars. Maybe you just got on a kick about conspiracy theories or whatever it might be, and that didn't exactly get you results. You wanted to share it, but when it comes to business, posting outside of your brand content pillars for your avatar wasn't getting you results. Being inconsistent. And that's kind of a gray line, because that's sort of not doing something, but it's also being consistent. So like a state of inconsistency, consistently inconsistent, if you will. Spending tons of time creating a lot of graphics. So spending a lot of time of your input time creating Facebook banners and this and that. Maybe that's not when you were getting the most results. I don't know. Maybe you were, but I'm just giving you some food for thought. Selling a whole bunch of things all at once, or selling only one thing at once. I don't know. But what actions were you taking when you weren't getting results? Maybe you were drinking. Maybe you were over exercising. Maybe you were eating crappy food. I don't know. But when you weren't getting results, what were you doing? Obviously, I'm going to say when you look back at that list, those are the things that you are going to want to cut out as much as possible, and think about outsourcing. If there's some things that you found yourself doing that are essential for your business, to say creating graphics, or maybe even writing copy for blog posts or social media posts, I don't know. But if you weren't getting results, but you know those things are essential for your business, those could be things to outsource if you don't have time for them. Because of course, everyone has a different schedule. Everyone has different amounts of time in their days and weeks that they can devote to their business. And so if you're finding that you can't get to these essential things we're going to talk about next, you need to outsource some of those things that maybe are business necessities, but you don't have the time to do your essentials that every online business owner and CEO must do, plus those things. Second part, ask yourself, what were the conditions or the actions that you were taking when you did get results? And this is something that I've been asking myself. There's a lot of shiny objects, right? There's a lot of things that we could be doing. There's endless to-do lists that we make for ourselves and that we can make by looking at what other people are doing and how other people are having success. But what were you doing? What conditions existed and what actions were you taking when you were getting results? What were you selling? How were you growing your audience? What were you focusing on? So I want you to take a bunch of time and write down all the things that you were doing, or the main things that you were doing that you can think of when you were getting results. Were you going live regularly? Were you posting daily? Were you running a lot of free live challenges? Were you creating a lot of shareable content? Were you on a 30-day reel spree where you were creating like 2 reels a day? Were you doing personal development every day? Were you consistently sharing within your brand content pillars, maybe focusing on one certain particular type of content that was getting you a lot of results? Were you growing your email list intentionally? Did you have a really solid lead magnet that maybe has fallen off? Were you emailing your audience? What was going on when you were getting results? Was it one specific course or product that you were promoting that brought in a lot of revenue? So what were those things when you got results? Now I want you to go through your list and identify which of those things are still relevant in the current online space and aligned to how you want to build your brand. Because I know personally for me, I have gotten results from taking actions that no longer feel aligned. I've gotten results and made revenue from entire businesses and business models that for me no longer feel aligned and what I want to do now. And so we don't want to just go back and do all the things that worked back then, because we evolve and we change as humans, especially if you are on a growth path in business and in life, as I know if you're listening to this, you are for sure. So we want to make sure that all of those actions are still aligned with how we want to build and that they're still relevant. So there are going to be some strategies, and I'm going to say it, search engine optimization, whether you are creating an evergreen asset on a website/blog, YouTube channel, podcast, you have some place that is evergreen where you're creating content and you're repurposing your content to make it searchable through search engine optimization. That's always going to be relevant. But when it comes to our social media, our platform and our community, most of us are building either an email list or on Instagram, maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's Facebook, but wherever your main core community platform is, what's working and best practice there now. So for example, ironically, live video is not so much. When I was getting massive results at one time, a lot of it was because I was doing live video. Well, guess what? Algorithms changed, and now short form video is the thing when it comes to video. And so what do? I continue creating my long form content to establish authority, to give you guys great value by way of podcasts, which is what I'm doing right now, even though I'm recording it live in our community, podcasts and my website. So what I do is I then repurpose that longer form content into shorter video clips and reels that I can share on Instagram, my social media platform there. That makes sense? So you want to make sure that you're not doing things and spinning your wheel and grinding on tasks and inputs that aren't going to get you 80% of the output. So you might have to play around a little bit with it, but I want you to make sure that the actions you're taking are aligned to you and also aligned to best practices in the online space, aligned to your long-term goals, aligned to your work schedule, your values, all the things. Those things that are left on your list, those need to be a priority. And I can guarantee you that all of those things are going to fall up underneath one of the 4 categories I'm going to share with you right now that absolutely need to be a priority in your business this year, any year, and frankly, daily. Okay. If you are wanting to grow a sustainable, healthy, thriving business, these 4 things need to be incorporated, and then folding up those from your list that you just created into these categories. So first things first, personal growth and development. Okay. You cannot inspire others if you yourself are stagnant and uninspired. Leaders grow. Leaders continue to learn. Leaders forge a path ahead. Okay, so your personal growth is not selfish. Reading or listening and reflection, making whatever it is that you do to grow as a human and as a business owner, a professional and personally, you growing is essential as a personal brand and essential to inspire and lead your audience. So that's number one, cannot be neglected in any way, shape, or form. You are a personal brand. You being at your most aligned and authentic and best is what is best for everyone around you. Your audience, your family, your friends, your partner, everybody. The other three things you need to do, and there are many ways to do all three of these things, but at their core, you need to grow a target audience. So you need to be constantly, daily, whether paid or organic, growing your audience with people who care about what it is that you have to offer. So people who need what it is that you're serving up. So whether this is growing your audience organically through creating short form videos, whether this is organically through Pinterest, you're building an email list through a Pinterest pin or pins, whether it's a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad, meta, if you will, whether you are funneling people from your Instagram to your Facebook group, and then one of your Facebook group entry questions is, can I have your email address? Somehow you're growing your target audience and you're funneling them into your chosen platform every day. Essential. You can have the best programs, the best offers, the best dialed in, aligned personal brand. But if you're not bringing in new potential buyers, new potential customers, clients, business partners, you're not going to have a thriving business. So I beg of you to please focus on growing your target audience and community this year and always and every day. Secondly, you cannot neglect this part. Obviously, if you're growing your audience, you need to have sticky content that they want to stick around for. Now, whether that's evergreen content, whether you're building a body of work on a website or a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel, you want to have nurturing content. Maybe it's an email sequence, but content that's engaging, that's relevant, that offers value to that target audience. And you want that to be consistent. So again, consistent doesn't mean you showing up every day, but it does mean that you have a system to be consistent if you're not going to show up every day. So we've got growing your target audience, nurturing your target audience with consistent, excellent content. 3, making offers and selling to this audience every day. And again, that can be automated or that can be you showing up and making offers every day. This would be like going into a restaurant that has all these pretty images. Maybe they even have an Instagram of this food that they serve. You go in, you look at the menu, and then you go to order, and the restaurant says, oh no, we don't have food today. Just some days, just like a couple days a week we do. You can look at all of this that you might want, but you can't actually buy anything. Same with our content, right? People come to our social media or they go through our email sequence or our website. If there's no offers being made, there's nowhere that it's just, you need to give opportunities for your audience to be able to purchase if you are setting them up to demonstrate that you have something that they need to take the next step forward in whichever area of their life, business, health, whatever niche you are in, whatever it is that you're selling. Okay, so those are the 4 things that you need to be doing every single day: growing yourself, growing your audience, nurturing your audience, and then selling and making offers to your audience, regardless of whether it is your own offers, an affiliate product, business opportunity, you're in business. Those are the things you need to be doing. And then those more micro actions, the actual like how to that you know got you results, those things are going to go under those categories. So if it helps, maybe list like 4 different columns with those 4 things, and then the specific actions that you need to take. And then obviously this goes without saying, your personal brand is what is underlying all of this. So you having an attractive, magnetic, authentic personal brand. And I know some of you are going to say, I don't need a brand in order to do well. Well, if you don't think you have a brand, you do have a brand. And that could be a positive thing because your brand is just your reputation online and how people perceive you. So you can either curate that so that who you authentically are and what you want to do in the online space comes through in an honest, authentic way, or you can be unintentional about it and then get unintentionally branded by other people. And so you having a strong, personal, authentic brand, no, not being perfect, no, not coming up with some fake it till you make it weird stuff, but you having a powerful, authentic, personal brand that is you to the core, and all your weird, quirky, authentic, glorious personality coming through, that's what's going to make all of that magnetic and sticky and attractive. And so the more dialed in and aligned you can get your personal brand in all of these ways, everything from your aesthetic. So I think we see a lot of people that have like the same brand aesthetic, and it's fine. What is yours? You're going to attract your people if you pick even brand colors that are true to you and your vibe and how you want someone to feel when they come across your brand. All of these things really make a difference. And in a world where our attention spans are even shorter than they ever have been, our attention spans are less than that of a goldfish. It's like 6.2 seconds or something is how long you can capture someone's attention. Every little thing counts. And so to that end, if any of the above that we've talked about, if any of those 4 essentials, if any element of your personal brand, from your mission to your tagline, to your colors, to your aesthetic, to your brand, this work schedule you have, if any of that is out of alignment, it's just like with your back. So if you think about your back, alignment just means that things are in a linear order or sequential order, right? And so if something in your back, in your spinal column, is out of alignment, you're not going to be moving forward in a very flowy type of way. You're going to have like pain. It's not going to be the way that things should be. And it's the same with our brands and our businesses. Yes, you can muscle through things. You can create results when your brand and your business plan are not in alignment with all the things, and particularly not in alignment with your core values and the things that really make you you. You can create results. I've done it. Maybe you've done it, but I'll tell you what, it does not feel nearly as freaking amazing as it does when all of those things are in alignment, and that trickles into every area of your life. It's not just your business. So if this year you would like support and accountability and all the things in branding yourself or rebranding you and incorporating whatever it is that you're selling, whether that be affiliate products, your social selling products, your own offers, align your brand is the room that you absolutely need to be in. I feel that very passionately. We kick off on the 23rd of January, and I don't know if I'll run Align Your Brand as a live program again. Originally, it was self-paced, but I brought it back to life because I feel so passionately about getting in there with you and helping you to align or realign your brand. So if you're interested in snagging a seat, there's more information on the elevatedwithashley.com/align page. You can also DM me if you have questions. And if you're listening to the Maverick Mompreneur podcast, you can scroll down into the show notes, just go all the way down, and then there will be a clickable link for elevatedwithashley.com/align. I hope this is helpful. Please let me know in the Facebook group what you come up with. What are your essential conditions and actions, that 20% input that's going to bring 80% of your results this year? Let's dial it in. Let's get it. Happy 2023. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. My goal is to help as many women in business online as possible to build strong, powerful, aligned, and profitable personal brands. The best way to show you appreciate this content is to screenshot and share on your social media or share with your team. Actually, even better would be to also leave a review for the podcast on whichever platform you're listening on. If you are looking for any additional support, you can always reach me via email at hello@elevatedwithashley.com. You can DM me on Instagram at Ashley R. Latimer, or join us in the free Elevate Academy for brand building, maverick marketers, and mompreneurs Facebook community. Can't wait to chat with you next week.